I don't know how many of you have ever been on an 8-day fishing bender, fishing pretty much daylight to dark for all those days in a row with a whole lot of driving in between. But that's what I just wrapped up. So that's what we're going to recap tonight on HellaBass Live, brought to you by Arsenal Fishing and boosted by Powerhouse Lithium. Good to see everybody. Good to be back. Let's see if I still remember how to do a live stream and hang out. Sunscreen or a little bit of sunscreen. But good to see everybody. Hopefully the sound's okay, with video's okay. But yeah, recap some things, answer some questions, get everybody caught up. Brian says we sound good, look good. Yeah, it feels like it's only been 2 weeks. We only took 1 week off, but it feels like a whole lot more than that because I streamed the Wednesday before the Friday practice of Lahamadu, which is just 14 days ago. But man, I've done a lot of fishing since then. But are we supposed to be buying Halloween candy already? Lauren Jeanette, welcome back, member. That's awesome. One of us, one of us, one of us. Where do we even start? So, and now it's coming off, I mean, a week of work travel where we missed a stream. So really, this is my only, second stream in 4 or 5 weeks. So we had that week of travel for work. I did go down to the river, do a little scouting on Sunday, had a busy work week, streamed Wednesday night, stayed up probably too late Thursday night, got up super early Friday morning, drove to Alexandria, Lahamadu. I think I got on the water around 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning. It's about a 2.5, 3 hour drive with stops up there. And fished till 8:30, 8 o'clock, probably 8 o'clock. That first Friday night. Ate some stuff that I had in the boat cooler for dinner. Met up with Banger and Nipper for one cocktail as they were wrapping up their dinner. Followed them back to the place that we were staying. It wasn't an extra bed in the place they were staying, but I could plug in at this barndominium. And so I slept in the back of the Silverado with the topper, which when the Tahoe died, I got a topper on the Chevy just for that instance, and that was the first time I actually used it and slept in the back of it. It was pretty nice. Cracked the screens, slept pretty good, and yeah, so we got up early, got on the water, 6 o'clock ish, and then I fished till about 6 that day on the Hamadou chain. And I would say my practice was decent. It wasn't crazy, but the first day, right away, like the spot I started on, like it felt like 50 of the 67 boats were on Mahamadou proper when I launched the boat. And I pulled into an area that I liked that I just wanted to check, kind of on my way to Geneva. And I kind of pulled up down from where I wanted. I literally stood up first cast with a chatterbait boat up on one. And I found a nice little pot of fish in this little area in this corner. And so that was good. Fished a couple other things in Lahamadou. One other area had some good fish on it, nice little pot of fish. Then I went into Geneva, kind of fished offshore most of the day. Some onesie twosies, never really found a group, maybe one little pod. There was one area where I could see them on scope pretty good, but they didn't really seem to want to bite. Then I went shallow a little bit, and there was a consistent bite there in Geneva, shallow, that I thought I could tap into if I needed to. And then kind of finished the day Lahamadou again. Caught some walleyes at the end of the Friday practice. Didn't have a fillet knife, didn't have a place to clean them, so they were set free. Was kind of a 1-2 punch of a chatterbait as a moving bait, and then throwing a hula stick on an Arsenal Ned, the chartreuse Ned, were kind of the best things for offshore, and then a bass tech jig shallow. And then Saturday, put another 12 hours in, focused on Darling and Carlos. Found some smallies in the spot that I ended up starting on in the tournament. In the morning, hunt and pecked around weed lines. Nothing real crazy in Darling, but identified a few areas with fish. Went to Carlos and I actually found a couple good pods of fish on a deep weed edge that I felt pretty good about. Caught them on jigs, Ned, minnows, chatterbait. Then I tried some exploring some other stuff, shallow and deep. Didn't really pan out in Carlos. Finished the day in Darling, both shallow and deep, and kind of found a dock pattern that kind of seemed to be emerging in Darling. And after 12 hours, we packed up. We drove south. So it was 4.5 hours down to Winona. So I drove halfway. I drove home, crashed in my own bed for like 5 hours, then got up early, met club member buddy Pete Hare. We bombed down to 5A, fished 12, 13 hours. I think we fished till like 8 o'clock, which was okay, but wasn't great. Found some stuff, but spent a lot of time like eliminating water. Like I was really looking for like the frog holy grail. Never really found it. And found a few other smally things. Drove back home that night, crashed in my bed again for another 4 or 5 hours. And bombed up to Lahamadu early Monday morning, got on the water before 7 and fished till noon, which was the cutoff. Spent most of that time in Lahamadu, all of that time in Lahamadu, looking for offshore fish. Found some new spots. I don't think I've ended up fishing anything that day that I ended up actually fishing in the tournament. But yeah, then spent the next couple hours rigging feverishly before dark, before the meeting. Got the boat kind of resituated, actually pre-rigged some stuff for the river as well. Ended up staying out later than I wanted to with dinner with Nipper and Banger and some other guys. Interlaken was not that great. Not as good as advertised there on the shores of Carlos Lahamadu. But we stayed on the lake on Carlos. Shout out to the Cavers. Crashed at their place while they were out. So I spent, again, they had a couch there, but I was like, I could haul my bedding in to put it on the couch to sleep for 5 or 6 hours and then just haul back to the truck in the morning. So I actually just slept in the truck again, even though I was at a nice house that had a couch. Good reminder from Trevor. Doesn't hurt to hit the thumbs up. It costs you nothing. Much appreciated by me if you do. So yeah, that was the whirlwind of practice back and forth between Winona and Alexandria. And kind of dipped my toe in both. Definitely leaned more on the classic bass practice, right? I spent 2.5 days there and only 1 day down on the river. And I was low 20s in points coming into this tournament. So I need to stay in the top 33 to make the championship. Need to stay in the top 40 something to requalify. And obviously wanted to cash a check and have a good tournament, to stay on the right side of the black and red on entry fees. We got a good check at Vermilion, pretty bad tournament lacrosse, which I was pretty bummed about, which put some unneeded pressure on this Lahamadu tournament. And so, we kind of needed to land on them and catch them because like this lake kicks them out. Good question, Trevor. I got the 6.5 foot bed in my pickup with the topper. So that's why I got the extended cab or the crew cab with the long box. to have the length to sleep in the back. I'm not talking about sleeping in their back seat. I'm talking about making a bed on the topper. So go to the meeting that night, right? And I drop boat 59. What's up, Tim Grant? And I was like kind of bummed because like I was boat like 62 out of 67 of Vermilion, and I was like 20th at lacrosse. So I was like, I should be like 40th in this tournament if it's even at all. But I was boat 59. So I was like, ooh. And then the way they split the lake, it was Carlos and Darling in the morning with Little Lahamadou you could go to. And then basically in the afternoon, it was Lahamadou and Geneva and Victoria. And I really kind of want to start my morning on Lahamadou because that's that first place. Like I had those fish located when they were up on the flat and they were roaming around and feeding early in the morning. And we got it the opposite. And I kind of thought I had one really good spot that I could go to in the morning. But when I was boat 59, I thought there was almost zero chance that I would get that spot. Anyways, we get there in the morning, get launched, get over there, getting the stream fired up, get our marshal. Thanks to you, the guys, gals, people that tuned into the stream. That's still up there if you want to check it out. At least the first 6 hours of it. It conked out the last 2 hours. But I think there's some good footage, quite a few fish catches. Get situated with Lexi. She was a super marshal. She was awesome for her first time. She killed it. She did a great job. Shout out to Lexi. But I cruise over. I kind of make a loop through Darling, leaving Arrowwood, kind of looking at the spot that I thought I wanted to start on, thinking there would be absolutely no way there. And I get over there and nobody's there. And I was shocked. So I pull in there. And we left early enough that day that pretty much everybody was able to get out on the water. One moment, please. All right. And the funny thing is, the boat behind me also wanted to go there. So we, as you saw in the live, we kind of figured things out and split up the area. And so it worked out. We each caught a few fish early. I think I caught like 5 or 6 fish in that spot. In retrospect, I probably spent a little bit too much time there trying to like mine a couple more fish from there. Decided to check some shallow stuff. That bite was decent enough with the score track and stayed up in the top 10 most of the first half. Made a judgment call to go to Carlos. Only caught 2 fish there. I think I fell to 11th at the end of the first half, but it was pretty good. And yeah, going into the half, like feeling pretty good that, we were well in contention for a check. We were doing great for requalification and making the TOC. Made some line adjustments, kind of got some things. My gas gauge was showing real low, so I got some gas. So it was a little bit of a scramble at halftime. We got back out, got on the area that I want to start in the second half. The bite was super tough. I think it took me an hour to catch one. I lost a couple. Made a bait adjustment. I could see him on scope, but I couldn't get him to react to anything, whether it was, drop shots, neds, minnows, chatterbaits. And made some adjustments, went to a darker chatterbait, finally picked up a few fish, hopped to one of the weed line, picked one up on a Ned, and then finally I was like, I'm going to go shallow. I'm going to go try this corner over here, something I didn't even practice. And ended up catching a couple fish pretty quick. And then I was getting just enough fish to stay in the mix through that second half. And I pretty much stayed shallow almost to the very end. And going into the blackout period, the last hour, I think we were 15th or 16th. I think we were 16th going into the one spot into the money. And I think I caught 3, maybe 4 fish in the last hour, which was pretty good for the pace because coming into that, I probably only caught 5 or 6 fish coming into that. So catching like 3 in the last hour, I felt pretty good about cashing a check, but I didn't know for sure. It seems like maybe the fish kind of turned on and people caught them. So went to drop off the marshal. I went and loaded the boat, drove it over to Arrowwood, and got my stuff kind of started loaded up to get going. Went to the award ceremony, got my name called for 15th place. Got named a qualifier for the TOC, and then I was able to hit the road. So at that point, they told us, no information, no practice until the official practice for Green Lake. So 33 anglers, we're all fishing a no entry fee tournament in about 10 days or so on Green Lake and Spicer. First place is a fully rigged Skeeter ZX200, I believe, with a Yamaha on it. And yeah. So it was good feeling. We got a solid check. We got the $2,000 check. And we busted our way down to Winona. I had to take over, got gas. I needed a little nap after I had some Culver's custard. And finally got down to Winona at like 11:15 at night. Plugged the boat in. Found a couch. Slept. Talked to my co-angler on the way down because I missed the meeting, but got my waivers and stuff turned in through my club mates. And went up the next morning, launched the boat. Picked up my partner, was rigging more rods in the morning. Like things were half ready, half not ready. I did not quit my job. Was back to work this week, BBC. And we locked up to 5A, made the first lock, caught a few fish early, kind of caught fish all through the day, put together a so-so bag, locked down to 6 with like an hour and a half left, and never caught a keeper after we locked down to 6. That was kind of a bummer. But my co-angler ended up with 2 fish. He lost a couple next to the boat that would have given him his 3 fish limit. Good dude. Jake from Zumbro Valley. He was super cool to fish with. Awesome partner. Awesome co-angler. I caught, I think, a limit on like a Nico chatterbait frog early, and then called a couple times on a stupid tube on smallies later in the day. I think I ended up having almost 13 pounds, which put me in like 17th after day 1. I think 17 pounds was leading it, and 13 pounds basically had me in 17th. The cut after 2 days is 25 going into the 3rd day, so I was above the cut. Better than I was doing at Vermilion the year before after day 1. So optimistic that I could, if I could build upon this, catch the same bag or a little bigger, I could move up, make a push to be, regional qualified, national qualifier, maybe even get back in the contention for a win. So get home that night, way more time to rig, get a good night's sleep, felt great. Day 2, actually caught a limit or caught 4 fish earlier, like pretty quick. My co-angler Josh Peters from Prior Lake, he had a limit pretty quick. He had a pretty nice bag, like pretty quick. And I caught 4 pretty quick, but then kind of got stuck there. And they were decent fish. They're all like 2-pounders. But yeah, never really got a smallie bite that helped. We locked back. I did catch a couple fish once we locked back to 6. And I was kind of lucky that I caught one of those fish because my recirculator pump got clogged. And Almost lost all my fish. They were not looking good, but I got that fish in, and I called more on which fish was, they were still alive, but barely, and I called the one that was doing the worst. He swam off. So I probably didn't cull efficiently, and then I caught one more fish, again, late, like on the last cast on a flappy frog. Went up to weigh in, just barely made it in, and I think I had like 11.7, 11.8 pounds, so dropped like a pound and a half. And yeah, only fell to 18th. So it was definitely tougher on the whole field. Count a pound and a half less and only fell one spot. So I made the D3 cut. I was like 6 pounds out of the lead or something like that. I knew I needed to probably catch 16 plus pounds to have a chance to like move up into where I needed to be to like make something of this tournament. Um, Conditions, they didn't really change that much. We were supposed to have a little bit more of a front, but we didn't really get. But like it was mostly warm, sunny, south winds. The water was dropping a little bit more, but it was all fairly steady, trending the same. And yeah, so day 3, go out, kind of change things up, start on smallies, kind of skip the largemouth, and Brian Casey, who's a channel member, I'm not sure if he's on tonight. He had a good day. He had 3 for 9, almost 9 pounds. He would have had probably 14 pounds out of the back of the boat, and I only mustered 10 pounds. It was one of those days where everything Brian did worked, and everything that I did not work. He would throw up in the sand and catch a 3-pounder, 2.5, 3-pounder on a Senko, and I would do something similar with a Nico, and I'd catch a 15-incher. But it's good to know that I was around the fish. I made some decent adjustments, like put myself around fish to have like a 14, 15 pound plus bag. I just didn't execute and didn't put them in the boat. Probably a little bit of fishing fatigue rolling up on that, but it was a good day. Got to fish, stayed around, saw Connor get the victory, past guest on the stream several years ago, Arsenal guy. And Greg Putz won the co-angler side. And yeah, booked it back. Shout out to 2 of our co-anglers. So all 4 of our boaters made the final day. So Michael Tesh, who you've seen as my team partner in some previous videos, he's the tall kid. And then Corey Brandt and Aaron Schmolt all made the final day. And then we had 2 co-anglers make the final day. Hunter Reese and Sawyer Schul, who I won the Minnetonka tournament last year with. So both Hunter and Sawyer had good days. They moved up in the top 5 to be national qualified. And then Aaron Schmolt from our club, excuse me, had a 15-pound bag, and he moved up to the top 5 and is national qualified for next year. So shout out to Schmolt, Hunter, and Sawyer. Kudos to those guys. But I was able to get back home and sleep in my own bed, get home before dark, see the fam. So that was good. But that was kind of the 8-day fishing bender in a nutshell. But then there was more work to be done because there was some other things in the works, which we'll get into in just a moment here. But we're going to take a 1-minute break and tell you what else has been going on and answer any question you guys got about this fishing bender.
Are you ready to reel in your next home purchase or refinance? Supreme Lending's Dream Team can help guide you through the entire mortgage process, from pre-qualification to closing. We have a wide variety of home loan programs in our tackle box, including down payment assistance and first-time homebuyer options. You can ask HellaBass. He trusted us to help finance his home. Contact the Dream Team today by searching Supreme Lending Dream Team, or click the link below in the description, or scan the QR code on your screen.
All right. Shout out to the Dream Team. If you guys are watching those rates drop at all and thinking about doing a refi or thinking about making a purchase, let Aaron help you out. Give him a shot. Yeah, I definitely got some solid tan lines from 8 days of fishing. The fatigue was real this weekend. Like getting back home, I would say it was probably till today that I didn't need to take a nap at some point during the day. In the ripe old age of the mid 40s, those 8 days hit harder than they used to for sure. But so the other thing, I spent most of the weekend taking my graphs off the Camus and taking all the tackle out of the Camus and cleaning it up. Because the Camus went up to Intune on Monday morning. And I just signed the titles away on the Camus tonight. So I am boatless. I am without boat. And I got a tournament coming up. Practice starts on the 23rd, and the tournament's on the 26th, fishing for a new skeeter. So we got some things to figure out here. But the Slamus is gone. And I sold my backup Garmin today on Facebook, my 1022, to somebody that watches the channel as well. So shout out to them. Your Garmin is in UPS's hands already. But exciting things. Howdy, Julie. So I don't know if you guys got any guesses on what might be coming down the pike, but that will, that news will be coming soon. There are plans in the works for a boat. I don't know that boat will be here for the tournament. We might have to invoke some backup measures, so we'll see. But I'll keep you posted as the journey unfolds. I mean, I will tell you that it is a boat that Intune Marine sells. That I will tell you. We'll narrow it down. So, exciting times. But this weekend, soccer scrimmages, hockey tournament, maybe doing some legwork to get ready. I got to start acquiring, potentially electronics, trolling motors, maybe shallow water anchors, depending on what all comes on the new rig. I do have the guy Aaron Thones on Snapchat. I could probably send him a snap, maybe. He's the Bass Cat is actually up in Alexandria. I was close to the Bass Cat during the Classic Bass event. So exciting times, busy times. Brian says he thinks I'm going to go Vexus. Interesting. Do you think tin or glass, Brian? What model do you think? We'll throw up the new Omnia code for August. I don't think I've streamed since this. So if you guys need the Omnia code, it will be in the description as well of the podcast and the video if anybody needs that. Whatever's out, you think it's on the show floor at Intune. The Yakin for a skeeter. Where would my Marshall sit, Tim, in the yak that weighs my fish in the Classic Bass event? But yeah, I don't know. Any other questions? The stream is up from Lahamadou. I'll try to get that tournament video cranked out. There should be a tournament video from the river as well coming. They do not carry icons at Intune Marine. And I will say, shout out to Into Marine, that they were instrumental in getting this deal figured out. So it was kind of a trade-in where a young angler had an older Ranger. They were trading in tune. I traded the Camus in. I'm working so it's kind of a three-way trade. So yeah. No Basscats at Intune. So you're pretty much your choices are Vexus or Phoenix at Intune. Just a little raft, a little belly boat, a little dinghy. Good question, Tim. Any adjustments going from different formats back to back? I didn't. Nothing consciously. I definitely practiced the river different than I practiced Lahamadu. So I definitely practiced the events different, but I don't feel like it really. I don't feel like it affected my fishing. I mean, I definitely approached the tournaments different, but it wasn't like, oh man, I got to reprogram myself. It came pretty naturally. Could be. Could be. There's a lot of models between Vexus and Phoenix. But yeah, you guys, who knows? Maybe by next week's stream, you'll know. Well, Hamadou was fun. It's a fun chain of lakes. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot to do there. If I had to choose formats for eternity, what's the choice? I think day in and day out, the 5-fish tournament suits me. If you know, if they cut down the practice, the thing is in every fish tournaments, if they give you 4 days of practice, you better use 4 days to practice because everybody else is. And a 5-day tournament, sometimes no practice or a little practice, and all you need is a little clue just to get you going. And you can just figure it out during the tournament. That's the one thing that goes away in an every fish tournament is you have to try new stuff and keep trying stuff in every fish tournament, but you can't really afford to go huge times without fish most of the time. So that practice and that testing almost has to come with a little bit of known information from your practice. It's hard just to in a 5-fish tournament, you could spend an hour going back in somewhere just to try it and never been there and still have time to recover. But in a every fish counts tournament, that would be suicide. So, I kind of lean 5-fish, but they're both fun. There's an intensity with that every fish counts that is different for sure. They don't carry Camus anymore at Intune. I would have no problem running another Camus. I love the CX20. It's been a great boat. So if Intune was still running, selling Camuses, I would have no problem getting another Camus. Yeah, I mean, I fish draw tournaments, team tournaments. I don't know. Well, Tom, we kind of recapped the 8-day binge, and now we're kind of talking about the selling of the Slamus and what might be next. So, what? Yeah, I don't know if anybody has questions that I can answer. Probably won't go super long tonight. But it was fun. It was good. I was a little worried that I was going to go halfway on both the classic bass and the state and flounder in both of them. And I'm pretty happy with how the classic bass event went, and I'm mid on the state tournament. But I think I hedged my bet the correct way and profited at the classic bass tournament, and now we have a chance to really profit in the championship. So That's what's going on there. So if anybody has like an Ultrex they absolutely want to give away for nothing or sell, let me know. Otherwise, St. Clair Bassmaster just wrapped up, so you got one last event for fancy fishing. I'll try to get the lacrosse preview video out here soon. One final event to win the Beat HellaBass group and cash in on that Omnia gift card. So make sure you get your lineups in this week. And if you're in the area, go down and see the elites in lacrosse. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it because they start on Thursday and practice starts Friday for Classic Bass in Wilmer, and that's not close to lacrosse. So, yep. But what I have done differently in the last tournament, are you talking about the river? I don't know. I wish I would have more practice, honestly. I guess I could have just tried fishing for some new water, but I mean, McKinney or Johnson, who do you think wins OI? I hope Johnson wins. I'm worried that McKinney will win. There's just something about that just hard to pull for him. He's clearly talented. He's a very good angler. I will not take that away from him, but I find it hard to root for him personally. I'm not even that big fan of the Johnston. I would have much rather that Shakurat was in the driver's seat, but that seems like a long shot at this point. But yeah, anybody going to lacrosse? Check them out. It's if you've never been to an elite event, they're coming pretty close to lacrosse. It's worth it. You can bop down there in 2.5 hours from the cities, catch the weigh in. You know, if you want to spend one night and watch takeoff or some of that stuff, but you can go down there for an evening and make a day of it. It's kind of cool. Yeah, what I mean, I just once I got this newer boat, Tim, it really was just kind of a plan to, you know, try to upgrade and sell the boat every 2 to 3-ish years. So that there is no real driving force other than that was going to be kind of the plan. I mean, I, in theory, could have put a Quest and maybe put some Explorers on the Camus and been just fine running it for several more years. How much stuff changes in Bass next year? I don't know. You hear the rumors about 50-50 front facing, but with the schedule they rolled out, I think it would be dumb for them to do that. I have no idea, no actual insight on what they're going to do. Other than that, I don't expect much for changes at Bass. They might announce some kind of twist on the front facing. I think it would be silly if they did, but we'll see. But other than that, I assume they're going to roll with the EQs again next year. Maybe there's some tweaks on information for the opens or off limits. I'm guessing we'll probably see a Legends exemption. Maybe we'll see like an invite to somebody like Casey Ashley. But I think it'd be more likely we see more things like the Roku and more coverage and that kind of stuff than anything really substantial to the format or how they fish. Yeah, the classics in Knoxville. I did hear rumors from James Watson that I think he said Table Rock was going to be Redcrest, one of the Ozark lakes. So if that's the case, Carol, that'll be right in your backyard. Are you saying next year does Bass do more or less? I don't know. I assume they're going to keep that the same, right? That's a random. Are you talking about my dad? He still has his place in Zimmerman, but he's still in Alaska this summer. If that's what you're asking, Bill. Yeah, I don't expect to see much change in any of the polygraph information. Maybe they make some tweaks to the I don't know. It's hard to say with some of those disqualifications. Like the Scott Martin one seemed like there was definitely smoke there. The Heron and Latusa ones seemed kind of gray. I don't know. It's kind of like some weird interpretation. I don't think Zona's participation has any impact on KVD and Fishing Bassmaster. No. They have caught quite a few salmon and halibut, Brian. It's fair. Hometown hero, Tom. Let's see here. What have we not? The Bassmaster Open starts tomorrow on Leech Lake. So quite a few guys from Minnesota fishing that. You know, I I like smoked salmon, but like grilled salmon is just okay to me. Whitefish, I mean, I don't get that excited about the halibut and that kind of stuff. It's okay. I'd rather eat crappie and perch. I'll send out 5 gift memberships since we're already halfway through August and I forget most of the time. So Tim Grant, Wayne Parker, Gefan, Maine, and Cam Bay. No, sorry, Kenny C. Uh, enjoy your gifted memberships for 1 month. Go back and check out the vault and see the members only content. Easton, I am pretty sure is in this open, as far as I know. I heard he was. I never saw like a opens roster list, but I sure thought he was. Unless that changed. We shall see. Yeah, so that'd be fun. I think Lauren, it will definitely be 20 or bigger. We're not going backwards. I will share that. We've definitely done some seminars and stuff and some members only videos that are worth checking out. Yeah, but I think Saturday the open will be on Bassmaster Live or FS1 or something. But definitely tune in Bassmaster. You might, for those that you might recognize some names fishing this last Bassmaster Open. So this will be the final event for the final 50 guys to get their Bassmaster EQs, and then we'll start to know the field for the Bassmaster EQs, which will be coming up in September, October, November. So, I mean, if you are convinced that it's on the show floor, you could browse the inventory of what bass boats are available at Intune on their website and place your bets. But otherwise, I don't know. Busy. Then you get caught up on the content. Need to empty out these SD cards and start editing. Anytime, Maine. All right. Feel free to send me if you want to send me screenshots in my DMs if you think you know what boat I'm getting. Am I eager? they're definitely eager to get. It feels weird having an empty garage. That's for sure. But all right, seems like we kind of covered the gamut. Not going to keep anybody up too late. Appreciate everybody that came in, hung out. We'll try to get a guest lined up for next week. I got somebody in mind. Try to get working on that for next week. So we should be able to string together a few weeks in a row of live streams with guests. So, all right. Thanks everybody that tuned in. Make sure you check out the Powerhouse code HB10, Arsenal Fishing. You can use code HellaBass15, and then obviously the Omnia code on the bottom of the screen. Uh, all ways to support the partners and support the channel. But otherwise, just like, comment, hang out, watch. That's all appreciated as well. You guys are awesome. Good to be back hanging out. And we'll see you guys next week.